Hey guys, this is Shukijo. If you don't know how to pronounce that, makes sense. It's shoe, as in what you wear, key, as in what you use to lock a door, and Joe, like the name or coffee, but said in one word, Shukijo. I like to do fantasy art, mostly characters. Let's see, I'm gonna start off by drawing maybe an orc. Just the head for now. Let's see. My DeviantArt is just Shukijo. You can look that up. I'll have the link under the video. Let's see. I've been drawing for, I'd say, 15 years, maybe? It's just a hobby. I would like it to be a job, but it isn't right now. This channel is kind of just to make a community. So when I draw, I encourage you guys to draw along with me. When I draw orcs, I try to make them look tough, but you also have to make them look ugly so that they look more scary. I'm into a lot of different fantasy things. I like playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm getting into playing Magic the Gathering. This guy looks... I'm going to try and make this guy look old. Let's see how I'm going to do that. Make the cheekbones a little thinner. And put bags under where his eyes will be. Yeah, with this channel, I would like to see a lot of comments. Really tell me what you think honestly about how these videos are going. And if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see, then comment along, and if I see enough comments about one thing, then I'll definitely try to make that video. When you're drawing orcs, keep in mind that they are proud of their scars. That's, at least in Dungeons and Dragons they are. So, you want to give them kind of a look like they've been in a lot of battles. So I'm trying to give them this big scar across his forehead. Maybe I'll give him another scar along his chin. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, I'll try to keep these videos more loose and like a sketchy manner. Mostly for time. But also, I think that people who are pretty new to drawing might feel more comfortable and less overwhelmed if I don't go too in detail. And that's too pretty. That is too pretty. To make him angrier. Nope. Yeah, oh shit. I hope you guys can see this pretty well. Ugh. I do tend to move the sketchbook around a little bit. Yeah, so Let's see what I can talk about. This guy does not look old enough, does he? Here we go, fix that. Let's give him some black lines under his nose. Go. I like to give orcs longer hair. I don't think having haircuts really makes sense for a more barbaric type of race. Sometimes you can make, like, you don't have to follow the standard culture for orcs, but we're going kind of generic here. Let's see. This guy's a little weird looking, which is what I want, but it isn't necessarily the right type of weird that I'd like to go for. One helpful thing is if you want to make someone look older and more gruff, you definitely want to add some sort of facial hair. Just doing just a little bit that can go a long way. Let's maybe cut up this eyebrow a bit to make it look like whatever damaged his head up here also left him with a bit of a scar along his eyebrow. Let's try to get some bags under these eyes. Make them look more sunken in. I don't think he's ugly enough. Also, it's okay if they have uneven tusk. Often asymmetry is a little nicer to the eye than having a completely symmetrical character. And you see that a lot in like fantasy stuff. You'll see characters having like uneven armor. It can be overdone, but if you maybe just like one little thing is enough. Like if you have a guy in a suit, make sure he's got a watch or something. Let's see. I had to keep it a little loose. If you're just like trying to get used to shading stuff, I find it's really helpful to go kind of bold at first and then slowly ease off of it. So you might start off where you have something that's, it feels too dark, especially when you've been working on the same drawing for too long, or if you've been sketching for a while and you start getting well burnt out, you might find that you're drawing outlines a little too bold and you get really frustrated with it. But while you're still fresh, try going bold then, and then try to dial it down. Just do the opposite of what you're initially feeling. Instead of going light and planning everything out at first, go a little heavy and then lighten up once you've gotten a few practice sketches in. And then if you find that you're getting back into sketching way too dark, then it's probably a good time to take a break. Let's see how this is going in. I don't claim to be an expert, but if you do like how I'm doing things, then maybe my advice could be helpful. And if you're better than me, hell, give me advice. I'd appreciate it. Let's see. Let's give some neck to this guy. It doesn't... There's not much I can actually add into this, but a little bit more than just a head is good, so you get an idea of what his figure is probably like. So I'm giving him more of a longer neck, and I'm going to try to make him look less muscular. Maybe this guy's more of a, like, a wise man. Or maybe he knows magic, I don't know. Let's see. I think his hair's too pretty. Let's give him some sort of clothing. Maybe some studded leather would be good. Which is a bunch of plates in between two pieces of leather. Sometimes it's in between two, sometimes it's just into one. But when you see like characters in Game of Thrones, often they're wearing studded leather. make it look a little worn. Yeah, I really like orcs. Pretty much anything I've ever heard of that has orcs in it, I've gained some sort of interest in. It's not necessarily enough to get me active into something, but I like really studying what like those kind of hobbies are, or whatever film, or just other things that have orcs in them is really about. So that's some fur. I think that's part of this. Sometimes you can do a lot with very little lines. See, that was just some scribble lines, but it kind of looks a bit like he's got a little bit of fur on there. Let's see, metal. I like to do some round shadows, where they kind of loop over, and then make the shape like that. I can go more into these kind of things. You know, just let me know what parts of this you like to know a little bit more about. When you're doing hair, it's okay to, actually it's very helpful to just go with a direction and then branch off of it. So say you wanted to have like some sort of curl here. First you just have the direction that most of the hair goes, and then you add something a little bigger, and then say I want to mess this up a bit, you add smaller strands like that. See, there it's looping over his shoulder. I want this piece to loop over that one. There's another one over here. Yeah, kind of that kind of idea. Let's see. It's really helpful if you have trouble drawing hair just to keep it simple at first and then slowly make it more complicated. I mean, that's kind of the idea with a lot of things. Oftentimes you see people go with more of like a cartoony or anime style approach when they start drawing, and then they add a bit more complexity until they figure out what their style is. Let's break this up a bit. Not as just too clean. can make that piece of hair. This one. Aha. Overlapping is really good with hair, especially. And I'm not really great with hair or quite a couple things, but I got a good approach, I think. Let's get a little more facial hair. I don't know how much that's actually helping, but it's a little better than nothing. Give him some wrinkles in his eyes. Let's make his forehead a little wrinkly too. A little bit stressed. Darken in that scar a bit. I think I'm gonna go in and try to add a bit of a mid-tone to his skin. I don't know how well that's gonna come up on camera, but we'll see. Whatever you're shading, try to go in one direction per plane. See, like all of his face I'm kind of going this way, and I did that some with his nose. His lips I'm kind of going this direction. It kind of makes it pop a little bit more, but try to choose when you're going in a different way. Like his ear here, say I'm filling it in this way, and I really want that dark spot to come out more. I shade it in the opposite direction, and it looks a little bit deeper, I think. Give him a bit of a spot there and shade that way. I really like to outline certain parts of my drawings. Let's chip his tooth. Yeah. There you go. Let's shade his neck the same way we shaded. 1 second. Let's darken in his hair here first. Get some outline. You see this in like comic book stuff. They like to give bolder outlines to different parts of the figure to make them look more three-dimensional. Often the smaller things have thinner lines, and then like the outer edges of a character have much thicker lines. Like I could darken in here, but I want to darken in all this, and he's all of a sudden popping out of the background a little bit more and into the foreground. say he's got a shoulder there. Let's darken in where his hair would be. And go ahead and fill this piece in pretty dark. Because it's not necessarily that important right here. Let's say his vest goes there. Shade that a bit. Alright, I want to give a bit of a highlight to this Adam's apple. Just do that, and I'm going to shade it like I did his face. Really darken this out a bit because it's about to get kind of dark. Not to outline that area a bit more. Maybe along his cheekbone too. Or as his jaw, I mean. Give him a few darker hairs there. Let's see what's not popping enough. Let's make his hair stick out a bit more. Darken the outlines of his hair. Hell, or maybe it's a woman. A facial-haired woman orc. You never know. Depends on how you view orcs. Yeah, orcs are probably maybe my favorite fantasy race. I also like goblins a lot, but I played a couple of orcs in D&D. I played, well, they've been half orcs. I played one named Crew that was a rogue. And recently played one named Stinky Lowbottom, who was a barbarian. And he had a thing where like he really had trouble communicating. Like he could only use parts of what other people said to express a point. So like at the beginning when they're asking him, like, what's your name? He just responded by saying, name. And, eventually, the party had to name him, and they chose his name for him. So, that did some of the work for me, I guess. I'm gonna try to go kind of dark with this, because I'm gonna have to darken it in. I hate when lead breaks off a pencil. Shit's annoying. We're about 30 minutes in here. Try to finish this up real quick. There. Back to the top of his head. It's okay to jump around a bit. It helps if you don't look at one part of the picture for a while, because then when you go back in and look, you can kind of see the mistakes that you had. Like sometimes if I'm going to post a picture on DeviantArt, I'll wait until the next day. Okay, the video just crapped out there for some reason. I'm gonna have to look into that. Yeah, but like I was saying, it's good to look at something that you're working on with fresh eyes. So to look away from it for a while and then get back to it is pretty helpful. So you can see what kind of stuff that you may want to change. But sometimes it's okay to just, well, most of the time it's okay to just accept the way it looks and just know that you're going to improve in the future. If you focus too much on fixing things, you're just never going to finish it. Alright, let's try to see if I can add a highlight in this hair. There's one. So maybe put one there. There. I'm not great at highlighting hair. Alright. Shade that in. I know what I said before about shading some planes in one direction, but really big stuff and stuff that changes direction, it's pretty hard to do that. Like just bold, dark areas like this, you can go ahead and just fill in however you want. At least that's what I do. For now. It could change in the future, and if it does, I'll let you know. Trying to go a little fast here. Most of the time I don't necessarily finish all my sketches. I get most of what I want to portray on the paper, and there's stuff where, like, if you're doing symmetrical arms or legs, I'll often just draw one out and then do the kind of the outline for the other. You can see that in some concept art that happens. It's a little lazy, but I don't really claim not to be lazy. Like the shoulder, there's not really much of a need for me to draw that in. Just throw something like that. There you go. There's an orc. Please leave a comment, and I'll get back to you guys later.